What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you how to ride a motorcycle. First thing is we got to run through the instruments and the gear that's going on around here. So to start off, we have our handlebars, obviously. On the right side of your handlebar, you can have your throttle, you can have your front brake, you can have your kill switch on, kill switch off, which of course you want to leave that off when you're riding, obviously. You have your starter switch, and over here we're going to stick to this side of the bike first. You have your peg, obviously, where your foot goes, and you have your rear brake. So braking and going is pretty much all on the right side. It's exactly what it is. On the left side, we have the left side of the handlebar, of course. Here we have the clutch, we have the gear indicator, we have the horn, we have the brights and then the regular lights, we have the hazards, and this is going to vary on each bike because pretty sure Honda does these backwards, the turning signals and the horn. Over here we have our passing trigger. Now I know a lot of bikes don't have that. I think a lot of Suzukis have it. With all my Kawasaki we have it. Okay, and how can I forget? And you have your shifter. Now I just kicked it into first. So essentially how this is going to work, kick it back up. How this actually works is that it goes first, neutral, second, third, so on. So when you kick down, you put yourself into first. So when you're holding the clutch, you're going to kick down, it's going to put you into first. So that's kind of important to know, because when you're in first and you want to go up to second, you're going to kick a little harder than you would on any other gear to kick yourself all the way up from first past neutral into second. Otherwise you're going to slip into neutral and you're just going to make the bike rev like crazy. And that's pretty much it as far as controls. Let's hop on it and let's do some basics. First thing I'm going to need is my key. Real boy. Shout out to Do It Dan on that one. Alright. I'm going to put the key in the ignition. The ignition's going to be different, of course, pretty much on cruiser bikes. Of course, they're going to have the ignition on the side or something somewhere like that. Alright, first you're going to want to hold the brake. Make that a habit, trust me, especially when you're on the hill. Now, when I start the bike, which I'm going to go ahead and do right now, let me drop this so it's not super loud. When you start the bike, you notice it just turns on because the bike's in neutral. Don't even have my hand on the actual clutch. Most bikes, I'm not going to say most bikes, but a lot of bikes will force you to put your hand on the clutch before you can even start the bike. So make that a habit, okay? So make it a habit to actually grab the clutch and turn the bike on, because you're going to run into some bikes where you're going to have to do that anyway, so it's good to have the habit. Also on this bike, and most newer bikes, you have a sensor actually right inside the kickstand that tells the bike that you're in gear, or tells the bike that you're in gear and the kickstand's down. So essentially if I turn the bike on and I go to kick it in first, it just kills the bike, because the sensor on the kickstand tells the bike, hey, the kickstand's down. So that's kind of actually a good feature, a good safety feature, so someone doesn't take off with their kickstand down and really have an interesting left turn on their first left turn. So there we go. Okay, so let's turn the bike on. Bike's in neutral. From here, we're going to take our foot, we're going to put it on top of the gear shifter, and we're going to kick down. And now we're in first. You'll feel that click. Most bikes do kind of a hard click from neutral to first. Kind of lets you know you're in gear. So now you know the neutral light's gone. Now from here, you're going to actually release off the clutch very slowly. And this is going to bring you into the friction zone. And every bike has kind of a different type of friction zone, so you kind of need to learn where yours is. So when you roll off, you're going to notice the bike is going to start creeping forward. And as you roll off a little more, you're going to start rolling. And the bike is actually balanced, and my feet are on the pegs. So it's very important that you learn this, you learn where your friction zone is. Once you learn your friction zone on your bike, then I would suggest you go out onto something more like a street, but you really need to learn that. It's pretty important that you know how to roll. Now, to get a proper start, you're going to roll off the clutch, or you're gonna gently come off the clutch. Don't dump it, and you're going to give it a very little bit of throttle. And it's actually going to roll the bike a little faster and forward. Now doing this, you kind of ensure that your bike doesn't just stall out on you, which is pretty embarrassing at a stoplight, and I guarantee you most new riders are going to do that. Notice I was using some clutch play right there. Okay, so now that we got rolling figured out and giving it a little bit of throttle, you can just release off of the clutch and give it a little bit of throttle, and you're gonna put your foot up on the pegs. So now I'm actually cruising, and then I can actually release the clutch all the way. So it's important to figure out that zone. So we're gonna take it on the streets, and we're actually gonna shift it. Now when you're turning the bike in slow motion, just like you're rolling onto a street, essentially you're gonna actually turn the handlebars towards your turn. Now when you're actually rolling, when you're actually going and you're going into a turn like up there, you're gonna do something called counter steering. So you're gonna actually push the handlebar the direction you're gonna go. Now I'm not saying like shove it hard, but you're actually gonna give some force to the handlebar and it's gonna actually put you into the turn that direction. So counter steering, so you're kind of turning it the opposite direction in a sense to go the way you want to go. So when I'm coming out of this little firehouse here, we're actually gonna turn this handlebar. I'm gonna actually just go slow here. I'm gonna kick in this second. You're going to roll off the throttle. You're gonna hold the clutch, and you're gonna kick your foot up from underneath the gear shifter. Okay, it's gotta be a quick, kind of a quickish movement. I'll do it kind of slow, so I'll hit the clutch, or roll off the throttle, hit the clutch, kick the gear up, roll off the clutch, put back onto the throttle. Now this becomes pretty quick. You're gonna get to the point where you're gonna be super fast like that. And that's basically how you shift up. Now, most bikes you actually do not actually have to use the clutch to shift up. You have to learn that technique. So essentially, driving, there's a shift, there's a shift. So essentially I'm dropping the throttle and kicking the clutch up and choosing the right time to roll back onto the throttle. So, let me get up here and I'll turn back around. Actually, this is a perfect time to show you rev match downshifting. So this is kind of opposite to shifting, and this actually takes a lot of practice. This is actually one things I really tried hard to get good at. So what you're going to essentially do is you're going to clutch, you're going to rev, it's going to pop the RPMs up to match the speed of the motor. The clutch is going to match the speed of the motor. So the gear is going to match the speed of the motor. So you're going to basically clutch, rev, drop the gear. So rev a little bit. So you're like that. And that takes some time. That one definitely took me a lot of practice. So then you get a nice downshift, which allows your engine to brake you, so you're not relying on your brakes as much and coming to a complete stop. And what they'll teach you in school is essentially, let me shift up to third. Okay, so we're in third gear. They'll teach you to roll off the throttle, clutch, drop the gear, slowly roll back onto the clutch. And that's pretty jerky, honestly. And when you learn rev matching, when you learn how to rev match and get it properly down, the timing, you're going to find that the shifting is so smooth coming down. Okay, so I'm going to turn around right here. We're going to do a U-turn. Okay, so like I was saying, coming into a turn, so I'm actually going to kind of demo this right here, is this little turn right here, is that you're going to do a counter steer. So essentially when I go in that turn, I'm going to kind of lean the bike, and I'm going to kind of turn my handlebars against my turn. So I'm pushing the way I want to go. So you're pushing kind of against it, which will put you into the turn. So let's get going. So I'm pushing and leaning. Pushing. But you're not pushing like hard, unless you're hitting the corner like crazy hard and you've gotten some talent, you know, and you know how to go into the corners like a GP rider. But that's pretty much the essentials, guys. Clutching, or dropping the throttle, clutching, kicking up. It's not too hard. And once you get a hang of it, you're gonna be just doing this super quick, you know. So again, downshifting, clutch, blip the rev, not throttle all the way through, but blip it. Try to match the RPM of where it's gonna be next. Kick down. Downshift. Next one. Downshift. Okay, a little counter steer. So again, downshift. Shifting up, clutch, or drop the throttle, clutch, kick up. Smooth as but come back into this fire station. That was a terrible downshift. Kicked it all the way down to first. And that's really it, guys. And really just practicing and getting better on something like a desolate road or an empty parking lot will work pretty well. I fortunately have all these roads around me which are generally pretty empty. I don't know why there's been so many cars. It's kind of weird. So just remember to practice your motions. So just remember to you wanna do this. So with the foot, I don't know if I can get this all in frame, but you're riding, you're going to drop, clutch, kick. So you're going to work on that motion. And it becomes kind of second nature. Just kind of work on it. Man, those chicken strips are real ugly. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. Yeah, any questions, leave a comment down below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll get you on the next one. I got some good videos coming, guys. Talk to you later. Peace.